Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Colonel Raina joins me. Let's welcome Colonel Ji. Hot stuff. Namaskar, sir. How are you?
Namaskar, Shirji. Namaskar, Shirji. Good morning, good evening to everybody who's watching. Great to be back here. Ji.
So, Colonel Ji, two things happened. One organization, 7 terrorists plus one in probably in Delhi, 1 or 2. All of them wanted to do bad stuff. 7 of them from Tamil Nadu, and they are caught in Delhi, and they're all turning out to be LET module. At the same time, another huge blast happens allegedly in Xinjiang province in China, and guess who's claiming responsibility? The same outfit. And where does it all come from? Pakistan. So something I'm trying to make sense of it, Colonel Ji. This is probably the first time that LET has claimed something in China. Again, viewers, I've just seen a couple of videos. The whole thing is up in smoke, and this is sometimes these people do false flag also, but it's the intent, right? It's the same thing that Hillary Clinton said about snakes. Over to you, Colonel Ji. You have the latest information, I'm sure. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Shirji. But this is very unfair. Why you Americans feel bad when people grow in life? LET is growing. It's expanding its footprint. I tell you, this is very unfair, Shirji. This should not be done. Please. This is startup industry of Pakistan. So we can have AI summit in Delhi. They can also have something like that. But on a serious note, yes, I believe by now the news is of 4 blasts. This is a bit of speculation. LET name is coming up, but at the same time, if you see what happened in Punjab yesterday, somebody shot 2 cops. Possibly they were sleeping because they've been shot in head. And 3rd guy is missing. There's a possibility that he's the guy who shot his colleagues, and it could be a normal some conflict or something, not really a terrorist attack. It could be terrorist attack also, because Punjab is also going to dogs, the way things are moving. Now, moment that happened, 𝗤𝗏𝗙𝗪𝗏 Hindustan claimed the responsibility, an organization which doesn't exist, which has no footprint either in India or in Pakistan or in Afghanistan. So like you said, there are people who make tall claims because LET has nothing to lose. Today, the biggest terrorist sponsor of the world, Pakistan, has many things to lose. Actually, we are waiting here with our doctrine very clear that a terrorist attack inside Bharat will be taken as an act of war. So they know they'll be given good treatment from this side. Afghanistan, we all know what they did and why they did. We'll discuss that. So LET as an entity, see, Shirji, unlike us, the normal people, these people are trained to die. Their Jannat lies on the other side. We're 70 to 130 feet each, the height of the females. Possibly they need ladders to climb up to kiss them. I don't know how they're going to do it. So those girls are waiting. Shrab you can't drink here while you are here on this earth, but go across and have Madira and everything. So that kind of, if you grow up with that kind of psychology, so you don't care. So if claiming that we are the ones who have got into China and done it, Xinjiang rather, so it's okay. It adds to the CV. But there's a real danger. What you're hinting at, Hillary Clinton's famous words about snakes coming back and biting you, that is also a fact. Because China, all this while we were facing this terrorism here, we went to UN requesting for designation of certain people, individuals as designated terrorists. And every time China came in and they kind of vetoed it.
Yes.
But this Xinjiang incident cannot be seen in isolation. There a lot is also happening in Yunnan, which is the southern part of China, which hugs Thailand and Myanmar. As for information, what we have confirmed one, northern Thailand is now another Pakistan. Northern Thailand, which was the most peaceful Thailand, and that part of Thailand which was not famous or infamous for activities which happened elsewhere in Thailand. So that was one peaceful, very green, very nature kind of a natural setting, the northern Thailand. People of certain class who wanted to visit Thailand with families, that was destination. Now, over last 5-6 years, a lot of mullahs from Pakistan have gone there and started preaching. So if you look at the Chinese map today, Their vulnerability, one is of course east. You have Taiwan. You can call it a vulnerability or you can call it a flashpoint. Then you look at the south, where I'm referring to the area which touches Myanmar and Thailand, where China was digging rare earth from Myanmar at like mads. They were polluting water, polluting soil. People are dying there, irrespective. And US is now trying to counter China inside Myanmar by stopping their China-Myanmar economic corridor and by helping Arakan army. We all know that. At the same time, that part of Chinese, that tongue which comes into to the south, is now under the influence of Islamists. Those Islamists which are basically the who have been prepared by Pakistanis. So you have a threat developing this side. You have a threat developing on the west, where we just mentioned Xinjiang. Now China, while it was sponsoring all those guys by kind of helping them by vetoing our proposals and coming in the way, is now tasting medicine. And whether, I don't really care actually, Shirji, whether LET does it or whosoever does it. The fact is, if there are 4 bombings happened in Xinjiang, which is a restless province, where we all know what happens to the local Muslim population there, how their mosques are being converted into disco bars and toilets, and we've seen all that. So it has to be attacked by an Islamist. So that means now China is going to have it from 2 sides, south and west. And east, like we said, it remains. And north, they have the issues with Mongolia and all that. That continues. So yes, but what comes out of it, if the footprint or the linkages of these attacks, bombings, they get connected to somebody in Pakistan, which is again a very high possibility, because even if it is not LET, who else? It could be ISKP, or it could be that Tajiks, ETIM. So all these guys are actually, they are being nurtured, helped, guided, whatever you may call it, by Pakistan. ISKP is in Pakistan and in some parts of Afghanistan only because of Pakistan ISI. Then we must also see the whole thing in the bigger picture, that there was an attack on Chinese citizen in Tajikistan from Afghanistan about I think 3 weeks back. 6 Chinese guys died. You would have followed that news, where the drone attacks into Tajikistan originating from Afghanistan, somewhere around the Wakhan corridor. So that actually means that Pakistan is now, earlier we used to say that Pakistan, having left China or having abandoned China, has gone and sat in the lap of US. Now it turns out to be that Pakistan is actually plotting against China. China is not like us, Shriji, that we will ask Pakistan, ye kya kar diya? This is dozy. They say, we don't know. These are non-state actors. We have no control. China doesn't accept such logic. Now China has its own issues happening inside. You know it better. So what reaction is going to come from there, that only time will tell. But the whole thing is actually telling us that Pakistan is getting deeper into that muddle which is created for others, and one day it will have to pay for it, because the person whom they're banking on, your dear president, who's now fighting another war with the Supreme Court, that I don't know. So I've been saying for long that moment there's a time when we and Americans, of course, we have to sit together, and we're the largest democracies. We have mutual benefiting relationships. We will see another basket of mangoes. Mango season is now around the corner. So you should not be surprised if you find Munir Saab going up in smoke because of some bursting mango basket or something. But before I give it back to you, Shiji, another interesting thing which you have seen, larger game. Al Jazeera has started speaking against Pakistan. If you look at Al Jazeera coverage today, they are calling BLA, we also call BLA fighters as fighters. Earlier they used to be terrorists. Now they're fighters.
Yeah.
TTP has become rebels. And suicide attacks have become escalation. So now you see the wind changing. Because Qatar came into news only because they hosted US-Taliban talks. Before that, who knew Qatar? I mean, we knew Qatar, of course. Gas used to come from there, and we had an issue with the naval officers there. But before naval officers got caught, we had US-Taliban talking to each other in Doha. That was a claim to fame. Of course, they're very rich. And the other thing, which Hamas and Hezbollah, we all know, those were on the negative side. This was the only positive news coming out of Qatar in possibly last 10 years. So now they have taken that relationship, They don't want to lose. So you see the attitude or the stance taken by Al Jazeera, which is supposed to be US media house, actually is funded and manned by US citizens, actually, though it is in Doha. And you see the stance taken by Afghanistan press, whatever little press is there, they talk in similar language. Now that Pakistan is now being uh, kind of uh, given a negative press, the way we've been given for decades, we are used to it, actually. For Pakistan, it's a new thing. So there's a lot of restlessness in the circles, so-called intellectual circles of Pakistan, that China factor, they always thought that we'll be able to manage China and America at the same time, which is not happening. Now Al Jazeera going against them, very soon you'll find Reuters also following the suit and somebody else also following the same news. And then the negative press, which has been a strong point of Pakistan. You see what happened in Operation Sindoor. They had their planes shot, they had their airfields blown up, they had their bunkers penetrated, including Noor Khan, and still they sold it to the citizens that they had won. They've been also telling the people that 71 was a play thing. We won because we got rid of those stinking Bengalis. This is what they say. 71 was, they said, we wanted this way, so we wanted to cut off those Bengalis from the warrior Punjabis of Pakistan. So this is how it is done. First time in the domain of information warfare, or you may say that news and press, Pakistan is on the back foot again. Hamari back foot pe to, we used to always call spade a spade, but now Al Jazeera doing it is something new. Yes, Shiriji.
Thank you so much. Al Jazeera's change in stance reflects the reality, in my opinion, Colonel Saab. See, what has been happening is, and I have said this in many of my monologues, there is this natural gas basin underneath the water. And part of it, or half and half, is supposed to be between Qatar and Iran. What has been happening is Iran has sanctions, so they cannot touch that gas. But Qatar has been pumping out. But gas is gas. There is no boundary wall in between. So what is happening is the reserves in the Iranian side are also depleting. Now think about this a little bit further down the road. There is going to be some kind of agreement, because we can see that Trump put a pause for a few days, saying that if you want to come back and talk, we can talk. And all this is sort of like what happened in Japan in 1850s. US just put a huge set of ships and said that open your country or else we are going to take over. And Japan did. And then, of course, they modernized very, very fast, Meiji Restoration and all that stuff. So in case of Iran, now Qatar has a problem. They have to explain how much they took out. And this is gas. How can you explain kitna idhar se gaya, kitna udhar se gaya? But the point remains that suddenly when Iran starts pumping on its side, it might be in for a rude shock. We don't know. So this is a huge problem for Qatar. And I think right now, in my opinion, in the Middle East equation, Qatar is the biggest loser, because first, their stuff is now going out, their influence is waning. On top of all that, their biggest asset is itself going to come under cloud. We'll have to wait and see on that one. In my title, I had said Yunus left. There are pictures that he has left now. I don't know where he left to. But we are also hearing that the entire cabinet, 2, 3, 4, 5, number 2, 3, 4, 5, everybody is also left from Bangladesh. Looks like they took loads and loads of money with them. And how did that happen? Now we are hearing the Bangladesh army chief might be also replaced. BNP is doing something similar to what these guys are doing, Kanata. How do you see the difference?
No, I have said it before. Unfortunately, I think we couldn't speak in between when the new government was sworn in. I said, let's not expect too much. Let's not expect too much of change happening in Bangladesh, because while they've taken 200 plus seats, Jamaitis who were nowhere and they've been banned also earlier, they have risen up to 77. And then you add 6 of NCP, so that makes 83. And then you saw the video, must have seen the video today, when Jemaiti, having won the election, goes to thank his people in the constituency, and his assistants are telling people, why you are having this TV here? Just shut this TV down. This is not allowed. So that Islamization of East Pakistan has started. I still call it East Pakistan, because practically there is no change. Deputy of Yunus had already left. He left much before Yunus left. Were they able to take out money? I have my doubts, because Bangladesh doesn't have money, and whatever money or whatever things they have, it's done now electronically. So and that he being CIA baby, possibly he would have already sorted out his finances. But Bangladesh as a state, as a country, is going to be in a again deeper trouble, because now you have US or CIA sitting there, which was not the case earlier. You have Russians doing their bit, you have Chinese doing our bit, and ISA Pakistan, of course, is there. And with this latest apprehensions, which you said, those 6 guys from Tamil Nadu have now turned out to be all Bangladeshis. Two who were apprehended in Delhi, one is Bangladeshi, one is Bengali. And like the link you shared with me, that also came a few hours ago, that the mastermind of that, Mr. Lone, is a Kashmiri sitting in Bangladesh. So for us, Bangladesh continues to be nuisance. Within Bangladesh, Jamaatis will not allow Rahman to do anything so-called pro-India or to normalize relations with us, because they will keep creating troubles for Rahman. If Rahman tries to go back to China, CIA will react. If Rahman comes to us or extends his hand towards Bharat, Jamaatis will react. So it's going to be continuing schmozzle for quite some time. But here comes the significance of Bangladesh when we look at our overall situation vis-a-vis Pakistan. Munir had said about a month and a half back, soon after Operation Sindoor was paused, that next attack on India will come from east. So that time we were debating whether it will come from Nepal, because ISI had good presence there, or from Bangladesh. Nepal, of course, got sorted out, but not sorted out, I mean, there was a regime change. So Bangladesh remains a nuisance from where threat can come in. And this threat will come like this only: somebody with explosives, somebody with poison to kill people by inducing that poison into some water supply system. So that threat remains. But if you look at army chief being replaced, again, this is a thing which is not confirmed yet. It's being whispered. But Bangladesh army needs to be appreciated for the stance they took. They, unlike their cousins in Pakistan, they didn't really do what Pakistanis do at the drop of the hat. So they remained in shadows. In fact, 𝗥 Hasina couldn't have come out without Bangladesh army cooperating with Bharat. And if chief is being changed, that is again, I would look at that as a negative development, because this chief, even though he is related to 𝗥 Hasina, he's been sensible. In fact, he's a guy who was objecting to visit our Pakistani top brass, ISI officers, Jamaatis coming to from Pakistan into Bangladesh for sermons and for camp. He was one who was kind of protesting. He was not comfortable letting Americans use Bangladesh to open a corridor towards the Arakan army, and then Arakan army in turn taking on Chinese inside Myanmar. So that to that extent, he's been a hurdle when Yunus was here. Now the Yunus is gone, and if he's also removed, then we don't know who's going to come next. And if the next guy comes also, the next guy who comes in is affiliated to BNP, then we'll have some more trouble. But overall, Bangladesh remains a nuisance. They will keep fighting. Civil war is something which you cannot rule out because of Jamaatis. So, but when a country like this goes into turmoil, it generally creates troubles for others. So we expect something, or we apprehend something. I mean, kind of, we are apprehensive of the fact that something will possibly come from Bangladesh, which will finally trace its roots into Islamabad or ISI headquarters or GHQ in Rawalpindi. But this threat will remain. Bangladesh is going down the drain. At the same time, it remains as a nuisance, a launch pad again from where something against India can be done by Pakistanis or whosoever wants to harm India. So this is how I look at Bangladesh. We are actually not concerned what happens inside Bangladesh. Government of India waited for elections to get over. They had the patience. Okay, while they were killing Hindus and doing all kind of things in Bangladesh, we waited. Now Rahman has come. Though he's been anti-India in the past, he's been supplying weapons to our terrorists, but it was expected that as a prime minister, he'll have to change the course. No, the change of course, a course correction, I don't see it happening because of Jamaatis. Because 77 is inside the parliament. You have many Jamaatis on the street. So that's another issue which we need to see. Let's see how it opens up. But I don't know. I don't have much hopes on East Pakistan.
Couple of observations, Colonel Raina, about what's happening in Bangladesh. 3-4 days ago, I had put out a monologue. I had some very confidential information about thousands of students going from India to study in medical colleges in Bangladesh. And when a cursory check was done, there was no such thing. So it means that these are guys who are going there to get radicalized. There are even Hindu names. People are saying, no, these are not Hindu names. These are actually Muslim. Not only India, even Nepal. Now, the thing is, there is a pattern you can detect. First of all, today you saw this other thing about 6 people from Bangladesh being caught as part of the LET stuff. Then a few months ago, when UP did this close to 300 madrasas near the border with Nepal, when they busted them up, suddenly they started seeing children between 10 to 15 years of age, all from the south. So they are taking these children and putting them up there and then radicalizing them. So this is being done at a wholesale level. And you also saw the new edict that has come out of Uttar Pradesh government. They said that any occupier, encroacher of government land, you have 24 hours to leave. Otherwise, bulldozer is going to go and raise it down. My guess is that there is a lot more property like what happened in the border of Nepal in the entire state of Uttar Pradesh. So this is one side going on, and they are trying to create this other thing with the other Swami 𝗣𝗚𝗡𝗍𝗏 and things of that nature. Clearly, they know that Yogi is on his way up, and they want to stop right there. That's kind of easy to understand. But if I were Tariq Rahman, Sirji, I will give you one suggestion. I would like to know what your thoughts are. Right now, Bangladesh is in no position to export because the ports from where they were exporting were all out of India, and India has closed them. Even if they produce it, they can't send it. Second thing is they've got a new deal with United States, very skewed towards the United States, where United States is saying, you buy the cotton from us, then the exports will not be tariffed. Now that is all gone down the river because now there's a global tariff of 15%. So clarity is not there. If I were Bangladesh, and plus Bangladesh owes billions in unpaid dues to India, whether it is power to many companies and food grains, India is still continuing to allow food grain to go. They're not, they're not telling, you starve. The only thing I can say is maybe some of the cattle has been reduced or even stopped. Beyond that, I mean, they have to become shakahari. Thodi buddhi bhi thoda thanda ho jayega. It's so at this point of time, India, they should ask India for having some sort of a facility where there's an Indian bank inside, like open a branch of State Bank of India in Dhaka, where this commerce can be done in a way that is smooth. For example, you export from Bangladesh into India, and then India will pay for you in rupees, and you use those rupees to pay your electricity. Going forward, there is a backlog, and then there's a going forward. You need electricity to build things. So there is no way Bangladesh can survive without having some kind of a arrangement where, first of all, they'll get paid for their garment factory. They'll keep them in jobs. They can't export as is, so they need to go through India. And at the same time, they need to find a way to pay for all the money that they'll need for moving forward for all the expenses. So this is the way they should be doing it, rather than, just, I don't know what exactly he is up to, but I see that trying to change the army chief is a mistake. That person will retire when the time comes. The army has a fairly well-defined structure, whether it is Pakistan. Okay, Pakistan thoda always hatke, but in India and Bangladesh, there is a tenure, and then the tenure finishes, then the next person is going to take over. Your thoughts on this, sir?
No, what you're saying is absolutely right, Shreeji. They should, Rahman should do what you're saying, because 3 sides we are surrounding and 4 sides is ocean, which belongs to us in any case. So logically speaking, Bangladesh needs Bharat for survival, And with this 15% and 30%, the deal, which the cotton or the raw material coming from USA also gone into drain, like you said. So all the more reason that they need to depend on us. Now, if raw material is not flowing from us, there were two sources they had earlier, Bharat and China. China had actually overtaken us, contrary to what people generally believe. Raw material for textile industry, more of it was coming from China. Now, if we don't supply, and China sending to Bangladesh again will upset America, and America with the present this tariff turmoil going, I don't really see for, and if the raw material, even if it comes from USA and cost 30% extra to Bangladesh, so they'll be out of competition. Logically, what you're saying, that's the way forward. Even army chief should not be retired. Army, which is not actually created any ruckus when they could have taken over Bangladesh when Yunus came in, but they didn't. But the logic doesn't work in all parts of the world. And in our neighborhood, either side, this may not work, because, like I said, Rahman has been a person who been selling weapons to our rebels or terrorists in Northeast. His party has been anti-India, and we expected, okay, bygone be bygone. And now that he's a prime minister, he will possibly, he has no choice. But the thing is, will Jamaitis allow him to do that? SBI branch opening in Dhaka, where our own embassy comes under threat every second day. Now, the condition there is not conducive. So he, in one of the shows, I said the best thing he can do for his country is first to have a very potent police force. They need discipline in the street. Bangladesh needs a police force which actually treats everybody equally, which is again not possible, because their internal issue is the biggest issue which they're facing. And of course, for survival, they have to come to us. We will not stop sending. When those trucks carrying onions went, a lot of people felt bad. No, those were contracts already done. In any case, we are producing so much that by sending money, by crops there, firstly, we are also supporting our own business. And secondly, this crop, which would have got wasted otherwise here in India, is getting utilized. And like you said, the debt is piling up, at least in books. It favors us. Now people are saying, why are you feeding snakes or killing Hindus? It's not as simplistic. And in any case, Bangladesh is a very densely populated country with Hindus and Muslims all drawing their rations, everything from the same sources. So when our rations go, they are consumed by everybody almost in equal measures. But what you say, like I said, is logical. I don't see it happening because of the kind of hatred people have today towards Bharat. And this hatred is not new. It was always there. Even during Sheikh Hasina's time, she was hanging these idiots, those old 90 years old Jamaitis, because those guys had killed her family. Hindus were still being mistreated. Even when Sheikh Hasina was there, some reporting was not allowed to be done at times. And we also saw that famous blast happening in Bangladesh, the Dhaka cafe. So if Rahman had his free will available to him, he would do what exactly you told. He'll mend the ties with us, come and do salam in Delhi, and then say, sir, please save me. But will he be allowed to do this? And what is the second option he has? The nearest is China, which America will not like. And if Bangladesh falls back on America, it is too far. Geography is something which you just can't ignore. So this is how I look at future of Bangladesh. While I agree with your assessment, but I have my own doubts. And my personal opinion is, what you're saying is how it should be. Because a restless Bangladesh doesn't help us either.
See, let me add one more thing. I didn't want to say it, but I think I have to tell the reality. Bangladesh is sitting closer to civil war than you would like to believe, viewers. Yes. What it is this is something my sources tell me, very reliable sources. Bangladesh knows its army will not stand up for even 1 hour if there's a full-scale invasion. So yeah. What they've done is, at a village level, they have a place where they have warehoused arms and hatyar, every kind of thing known to every village. Now think about it. This was supposedly against India. But if there's a civil war-like situation, who are they going to take? The arms and ammunition are right there in every village. Each will kill each other. If Jamaati doesn't like what BNP is trying to do, they will turn with the same things on BNP, and BNP will go raid the same place and hit against Jamaat. So civil war, forget about Hindus. Hindus will also get hurt, but amongst themselves they are going to kill each other at the way this is going. So wholesale cleansing is needed. Sir, over to you.
No, this is what a couple of weeks back when the government came in, I predicted the same thing. I see a civil war happening in Bangladesh, and these are people who are more into lynching, Shiriji. Weapons and shooting happened only when this 𝗤𝗍𝗪 was killed, and otherwise earlier we used to see people lynching each other. They are specialists on lynching. Yes. Now if they have weapons among themselves, then of course they will kill each other, and this is what this flare up will happen. And that's why the need to finish our fencing, like you said, cattle smuggling has gone down drastically. Bangladesh, you don't get fresh milk, because whatever cows go into Bangladesh, they generally pass their life, milk producing life, and then they just eat them up. So this few hundred kilometers of fence which is remaining needs to be strengthened. And because when Bangladesh burns, heat will be felt by us. We already have so many of them. Estimates vary from 2 to 5 crores inside Bharat. You'll see many more coming in, trying to come in. And like it happens in any country of this kind, whether East or West Pakistan, when your country goes up in flares, you start creating troubles in your neighborhood to distract. What Munir has done to Afghanistan, he's done to Afghanistan because he can't do that thing with India, which Pakistan has historically been doing. Whenever they had issues in-house, they would come and attack us. 65 was that. 71, of course, they created a situation, and even Kargil. But now they know our stance. Our doctrine is also very clear, and the kind of posturing which Bharat is doing and the kind of armament which is entering our service on daily basis, most of it is still not known to the outside world. The Pakistanis know that taking Panga here directly will cost them something really drastic. So they've gone for a softer target, Afghanistan. At the same time, I keep telling our own people that we should also be ready, because Pakistan will do something stupid inside Bharat. That they also do. Because Afghanistan, when they go and kill them, the voices in Pakistan are, why are you killing Muslim brother? They're also Muslim, we are also Muslim, we've been friends here. That pressure on government increases actually. There are people like Maulana Diesel, there are people of PTI who are raising these questions in Pakistan, that how come you're hitting another Islamic country? So if the pressure, because he did this just to overcome what happened last 1 week within Pakistan. Earlier it was BLA who had them for 10 days, and then TTP started hitting them. Even today morning, 11 people were killed, 11 Fojis were killed in Bajor by TTP. So they went for Afghanistan. That also now looks like it's backfiring, at least in northern Pakistan. And there's a possibility that Munir may ultimately turn towards east and do something stupid inside Bharat, which will of course lead to another flare up. So that is another thing so when you have this thing happening in your west, if east also gets on fire, so we'll have some kind of work to do, which I'm sure our government is awake and agencies are aware of possibilities. And that's why you heard of those military stations coming up, which I think on your program only I told you they are basically towards China, but as of today they have a role to play when it comes to securing of this our border with Bangladesh.
Thank you so much, sir. That comes to our program today comes to a close. And Sirji, my naman to you. I called you 10 minutes before the program started. 𝗟𝗧𝗏 𝗢𝗂𝗏𝗏, and then we decided the topic. It has a very, very good one, because viewers, we have given you a 360-degree view from India's perspective, what is happening around. And you will get more from this video perhaps than many others, because you've got an idea of what's really going on. You have to take that step back and look at what is being planned. By the way, one last thing before we go. United States has actually lost that battle, in the sense that they wanted Jamaat in place. They were only successful along the borders. The rest of Bangladesh just ignored this Jamaati presence. So my guess is, sir, US will also start withdrawing a little bit from all these things. They may still concentrate on Chittagong, Chattogram humanitarian corridor. That part they may do it, because St. Martin Island is sort of okay in their hands. Okay. Because it's not like they can really hold on to it. If another army decides to hit back, Like, for example, Chinese could go back and, push them back from there. These are small skirmishes. It is entirely possible because China is not going to keep quiet. Anyway, so the situation is right for a civil war in Bangladesh. If Tariq Rahman is listening to what I'm saying, listen and listen hard. This is the way out. Otherwise, you'll have people turning on you. 3 months is all you have. 6 months nahi hai. 3 months. In that time, if you don't stabilize the country, you will go the same way as Yunus and Sheikh Hasina before. Thank you once again, Ji. Namaskar.
Namaskar, Shree Ji.